Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a place that honestly just defies our normal understanding of maps, borders, and, well, even time itself. We're heading to what is absolutely, without a doubt, the most geographically mind-bending nation on Earth. This isn't just your standard geography lesson, guys. It's a look at an extraordinary history and a totally unique position on our planet that sets this one tiny nation apart from literally every other. So, get ready to completely reorient your perspective on the world. Okay, let's dive into this. Did you know the people of Paris and London can actually be citizens of the exact same country? I mean, when you first hear that, it sounds like a trick question, right? Or some kind of weird historical riddle. You're probably picturing the massive capitals of France and the UK, separated by the English Channel, and wondering how could their residents possibly share a single national citizenship? It creates this immediate, crazy geographical puzzle in your head. But the answer doesn't actually lie anywhere in Europe. Actually, those famous names aren't just in Europe. They are real, actual settlements located in a Pacific island nation called Kiribati. Yes, we are talking about a London, a Paris, a Poland, a settlement simply named Banana, and Kiritimati, which is also known as Christmas Island. It is a completely bizarre geographic paradox. Think about it. You could theoretically go from London to Paris to Banana in a single afternoon and do the whole shebang without ever leaving the middle of the vast Pacific Ocean. Absolutely wild. So to really ground us in what this country actually looks like today, let's look at this number. 130,000. That is the approximate population of Kiribati. But imagine those 130,000 people. They aren't packed into some dense, sprawling metropolis. Instead, they're spread out across dozens of remote coral atolls. If you were looking down from an airplane, you'd see the stunning landscape of turquoise lagoons, traditional villages, swaying palm trees, and local fishing boats just dotting the water. It's this incredibly beautiful, highly decentralized way of life scattered across just a massive expanse of ocean. And that decentralized layout? Well, that gives Kiribati its absolute biggest geographic claim to fame. Stretched way out across the globe, this island nation straddles two of the most critical lines on our map, the Equator and the 180-degree meridian. And because it crosses both of these lines, Kiribati is the only country in the entire world located in all four hemispheres simultaneously. You've got the northern, the southern, the eastern, and the western. I mean, it is literally sitting right at the crossroads of the planet. But, beyond the fun geography trivia and those idyllic lagoons, there really is a solemn historical legacy here. The story of Kiribati in the 20th century was shaped by huge global forces that brought profound challenges to these isolated atolls. It definitely wasn't always just peaceful fishing boats and palm trees. Let's move to and see how this builds, because the latter half of the 20th century was an incredibly intense journey for this region. Starting in 1957, we see the beginning of an era heavily defined by nuclear weapons testing, which lasted right up until 1962. But then, if we skip ahead a bit to 1995, we see a totally different milestone, a major adjustment to the international dateline. This timeline really captures this massive transition from an era of being a testing ground to an era of asserting national unity. To give you a bit more context on those early years, during the 1950s and early 60s, the United Kingdom and the United States carried out nuclear weapons tests in this specific region. They brought military aircraft and literal mushroom clouds to these atolls. And those tests, they left lasting environmental and health impacts. Because of this heavy historical legacy, many residents today continue to seek recognition and compensation for what occurred during those testing years. Coming out of that heavy history, though, the nation faced a completely different, almost existential logistical challenge. Just think back to that crazy geography we covered a minute ago. A nation scattered across all four hemispheres, bisected by the 180-degree meridian. And that meridian? Well, it's closely tied to the international dateline. So the question is, how do you unite a country split by time itself? For years, literally years, one side of Kiribati was a full calendar day ahead of the other side. Just imagine trying to run a government or a business when half your country is on Monday and the other half is already on Tuesday. The solution they came up with was this incredible act of national agency. First off, they recognized that this calendar divide was completely unworkable. So in 1995, they took action and literally bent the international dateline. They just shifted the line way out to the east to go around their easternmost islands, allowing the entire country to finally share a single calendar day. They essentially manipulated the map of time itself so that all their citizens could experience the exact same day together. It's a real game changer. And bending that line, it didn't just solve a scheduling headache, it created an absolute phenomenon. It gave this nation a majestic, entirely unique status on the world stage. By pushing the dateline so far east to encompass all its islands, Kiribati essentially positioned itself at the absolute forefront of time. They are standing right on the threshold, ready to welcome the new day before pretty much anyone else on the planet. So the crucial point is, because of this massive shift, Kiribati is among the very first places on Earth to welcome each new day. While it might seem completely isolated out there in the vastness of the Pacific, it is actually leading the charge for all of us. When the Earth rotates and the sun peaks over the horizon, painting the sky over Kiritimati Island, the vast majority of the rest of the world is still sitting in complete darkness. This nation represents the literal dawn of the future for our planet. How cool is that? Which really just leaves us with this final thought. We have a tiny nation in the Pacific with an extraordinary, heady history, a totally map-defying geography, and one of the very first sunrises on Earth. As Kiribati welcomes the sun every single day, what future are they leading us into? They are, technically speaking, ahead of all of us in welcoming tomorrow. I think it's a powerful reminder of just how much wonder, complexity, and history is hidden away in the overlooked corners of our world map. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I hope it inspires you to keep looking just a little bit closer at the map.